Good afternoon and welcome to our 10 minutes at 10 for everybody, which is definitely not at 10 today because we're super late. So why are we super late? Well, because we had client stuff to do this morning and because we had to spend some time planning what we were going to do today. Last week, Harry and I ran a webinar on 10 tips on how to make more profit into your business. So we didn't call it Shortcut Your Way to Another Monthly 1K, but we probably should have done because it quite rolls off the tongue. So what we did was created a webinar where we were looking at profit hacks for your business. So this is 10 steps to get an extra £100 in each month. So if you were able to achieve 10 times our profit tips of £100 each, that's an extra £1,000 per month. And if you're able to achieve an extra £1,000 per month, that's potentially £12,000 per year. Now, in reality, we often find that clients can save much more in some areas and much less in others. So maybe 6 hacks will work for one client and 10 hacks will work for another client. Ultimately, everybody has the ability to find more profit in their business quite quickly and quite easily, but it does require taking some action. So we thought it would be really cool to run a challenge in the group and see how much profit we could generate in our businesses and maybe talk around them, maybe add some more tips in, maybe find different ways of doing things and see what other people did in their businesses to generate more profit. So that could be saving cost, it could be growing sales, but ultimately it means more profit in the business, which means more cash for the business owner, more cash that they can draw out after tax, of course. So we're going to start today with 2 of the quickest and easiest and most obvious profit tips in your business.
Now, many of you may have heard this already, but tip 1, increase your prices.
So
may
obvious.
Sound daft because it's so obvious, but actually it's one of these things where you had to get over the mental hurdle of actually doing it.
Yeah.
But the reality is increasing your prices across the board for your clients is one of the fastest ways of generating that extra profit. Now, the thing to point out with this one is that if you increase your prices by, say, less than 5%, your clients will hardly notice. It's not really enough for a client to go elsewhere,
No.
and it could make a substantial difference for your business. For example, if you're turning over £30,000 a year, if you increase your prices by 4% across the board, you'll instantly generate that £100 a month profit. So really, really small change that makes a really, really big difference. The question is, could you increase your price to, say, 5%? Or should you increase it by a smaller amount? If your turnover is, say, £100,000, you only need to increase it by 1.2% in order to generate £100 profit a month. So teeny tiny changes, probably not that noticeable to your client, big difference. So what we would say to do is review your clients quarterly, if not annually. So depending on frequency, I would say at least annually, quarterly if you can, and review whether or not people are due a price increase. Now, the main one with this one is if you are going to apply an increase, you need to be honest with your customer. And we would say email them, give them a month's notice, however you contact them best, be honest with them, issue a reminder and let them know how long it's been since your last price rise. Because for some businesses, that could be a very, very long time.
Yeah, we quite often see clients haven't raised their prices for, maybe 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. Several cases we've seen with new client take-ons is they haven't even raised their prices in the last 5 years. And that's a huge amount of profit potentially down the drain. And they're always worried about what the client might say or what the client might do. But generally, anywhere between a 1% and a 5% price rise, they won't even notice, certainly not enough to go and start shopping elsewhere.
Yeah, and you can cushion the blow as well by essentially thanking them, letting them know that they've been a good customer, letting them know why your costs have increased. So explain the situation.
But don't justify. Don't be apologising and justifying why you have a price rise. It is what it is, and this is the price rise. If you're going to do a blanket price rise, you shouldn't have to justify it or apologise for it.
If you've been investing in your skills or you've invested in a business elsewhere, also feel free to let them know. And it basically justifies any increase without even needing to apologize for it at all. It's a really good way to just let them know, okay, prices increased, but you're getting this, you're getting that. Mention the benefits you're delivering to them, and of course, highlight where you've been adding value. So the main one on this one is to list any features or benefits which the client is receiving. Then, of course, you have the options for either a lower price option. Should your clients not be able to afford the increase, you might be able to direct them elsewhere.
Or they might not want to pay for the increase. So it's very rare that we see anybody rejecting anywhere between a 1% and a 5% price rise. But you could offer this lower price option and give them the alternative if they didn't want to pay for the price rise. Never seen anybody take it, but it does give them an option. It shows that you've considered what they're thinking.
Yeah, but don't just reduce the price for the sake of reducing the price if you have to.
Never.
It just gives them the option to retain them as a client. But then, of course, if you're going to lower the price, you need to be lowering just a little bit of your service. Otherwise, you're just essentially cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, which is not very helpful.
So main one here is explain the need for the price change, but don't apologize. Really important one. Yeah. You don't have to apologize for increasing the prices. It happens in every single business. So emphasize, don't apologize, just explain it.
So you could think of the last time somebody raised their prices on services that you're buying, and, you know, was it enough to freak you out? Did it really put you off? Did you carry on buying from them, or did you go and change supplier? And it's quite likely that your customers will feel the same way. So number 2, first of all, is the blanket price rise and just raise it by a small amount for absolutely everybody. The second one is to review your customer contracts on an individual basis. If you're delivering a more one-to-one service, have a look at the way you're pricing your contract with them. Review each client. Give them a month's notice if you need to upgrade them or increase their prices. Call or send their video so that you can talk them through the price rise and what this means to them. It will make it more easy for you to get acceptance of that price rise. Now, if you're turning over £30,000 per year, you only need to raise your prices by 4% to achieve another £100 per month. If you're turning over £50,000 per year, you only need to raise your prices by 2.4% to achieve another £100 a month. Again, if you're raising your prices by 1%, but you turn over £100,000 a year, then that's all you need to do is 1% to achieve another £100 per month. So if you need that extra income and you wanted to look at it on a client by client basis, you could be reviewing the services that you're offering. Has the costs increased? Have your skills increased? Are you doing more but not charging them for the work? If it's below a 5% price rise, again, your clients will probably never notice. It certainly won't be enough for them to go elsewhere. Review this quarterly at least, or annually if you can't do it quarterly, but try and look for the extra profit in each individual customer's contract. You'll find that there are quite a few where scope has crept and you're doing more, or the cost of the service delivery has increased, but you perhaps haven't put your own prices up. So you've taken that extra profit out of the business and you've paid for it yourself effectively by not increasing those prices to the customer. So those are our first 2 hacks. They're really, really obvious, and they're the kind of things that people should be doing at least quarterly, but you just don't do. So look at doing a blanket price rise across all customers. Look at doing a customer-specific price rise. They're the quickest and the easiest ways to get more money and more profit into your business. But your service has to be worth what the customer is paying for you to be able to put the price up. Assuming, of course, that it is, those profit hacks should work for you and you should be able to put them in today.
And the good thing about the profit hacks we'll be sharing in the next 10 days is that we will be sharing many more than 10. So there's actually many, many different options we can use to find this profit, which is literally sitting there in your business, ready to capture.
Take action.
Just as long as you take the actions which are needed. Now, you don't have to implement all of the items we're going to cover.
You may not be able to.
You may not be able to. It may not be relevant. And you may implement more than 10. But if you do implement 10, very easy to find an extra £1,000 per month.
Yeah.
Big difference per month being the emphasis on that. So we're talking big money.
It's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. If there are 10, 12, 15 or 20 different areas that we're going to talk through over the next 10 days, if you can just implement a couple of them, maybe 10 of them, of that 20 that we're going to share with you, and you can take a little bit extra on each one of those, it can soon build up to a lot of extra profit in your business by putting little pieces in different areas. Like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle, except you can choose what you do with the pieces you save.
Yeah, well, yeah, very true. So that's it for our 10 minutes at Not 10 today. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Got to find the off button now for YouTube.
It's always a challenge.
I know. Where is it? It's disappeared.
There it is.
There, end stream. There we go.